Welcome and happy Thursday, everybody. You are right here at KGRA Digital Broadcasting, Mystical Awakenings Radio with Deb and Arjay. Could be Deb and Arjay or Deb and Arjay or whatever. So you're stuck with us tonight. We decided we have not spoken about twin souls in probably a few years, and it's something that is important. So we thought we would discuss that a bit tonight. Hi, Mary. Good to see you here.
I'd like to say, some people think it's, not paranormal. It's not related to UFOs or, it's a spiritual thing. But it is kind of, when we get into this stuff, you'll see that it could very possibly be related to that. And we'll get into that a little later. And I want to talk about the history. Where did the twin souls start? Well, about 2,500 years ago, Plato was talking about it. He was lecturing to groups and telling groups of people that human beings used to be made up of a female-male soul with 4 arms, 4 legs, probably 2 heads, 2 hearts, 4 kidneys. And why would he be talking about this? I mean, Plato was a very intelligent philosopher, human being. So he was going around and lecturing about it. And what had happened was that they were very powerful beings. I mean, they were not only physically, but spiritually strong beings, very balanced. And they had 4 legs and 4 arms. And the story goes that they climbed up Mount Olympus, and Zeus, the main god, was not happy. Now, Zeus, there's some interesting stories about Zeus that these gods that the Greeks and the Romans talked about came from other star systems, and they were actually real people. So, but he wasn't happy with it. He wanted to kill them all. He wanted to kill all the humans in that form at that time. But Apollo, says, well, we don't want to lose our, people that admire us. So why don't you do this? Why don't you split them in 2? And have just the male and the female energy in a different body. Well, so that's what he did. Now, interestingly enough, in ancient India culture, they talk about twin souls and that a god did the same thing. So when I tend to see things that are coming from 2 different cultures, like the flood was coming on, I tend to believe there's a lot of truth behind it. So don't you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, they say Krishna and Radha were twin souls, and we're going to get into what they are, but they were very balanced. They were very yin and yang. So, they were split in 2. And ever since that, humans have been searching for their twin soul. Now, twin souls are not, everybody doesn't have one. And I believe what I've researched is tend to think they're very old souls because they happened when they were around in that time, when that went on. Now, there's soulmates that happen all the time, and we'll get into that.
And that's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
We all have soulmates. But so when a twin soul finds its other half, it's very fulfilling. Very, you feel more complete, and you feel like, oh my God, there's, it's like, I wish I had 2 of me. Well, that's what it's like. And you have this really need for a mission, and because there's so much that you want to catch up on about yourself. So
I want to take a second and say hello to all of our listeners.
Yeah.
Jessica and Kelly and Stephanie and Terry and Vanessa and Sandra. And welcome and hello to MUFON from Massachusetts.
Hey.
It's good to see fellow MUFON people here.
Oh, yeah.
So, and typically everybody knows our show is usually more directed toward, our galactic people and UFOs and UAPs. And
so, getting back to this, where the human race was.
I've been cut off.
No. What I'm saying is that, Zeus and the people were extraterrestrials, and they had a lot to do with what we became. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm trying to say. Genetically.
Right. Yeah.
And so there is a connection there.
Right. And that's, a lot of people argue that the paranormal and the spiritual and ET, there's no connection, but it's all intertwined. It's every bit of it is intertwined. There's a collective consciousness. So yeah, it is all intertwined. But so do you have more on the history?
Just a little more. I mean,
okay.
So Plato, when he was going around lecturing, explained that all souls come from the same source.
Mhm.
And we believe that too. And whatever that source is, I mean, the physical part of the universe, I do truly believe that everybody has a hand in on that genetically and everything else. But the soul part, I think, comes from a very higher dimension. And souls have a male and female energy. And, we believe that, they were in one body. And so there's got to be some kind of a credence to this story about how it was split up. And that's, that caused a lot of confusion in the human race. I mean, it caused a lot of problems with relationships. And, you just had this dominant male energy and dominant female energy not connecting the way it's supposed to. And so we're trying to get back to that.
Right. And within all of us is the male and female. And it's all about balance. And, we make too big of a deal of gender.
It's the yin and yang.
And Heidi, hello.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the yin and the yang. And, everything has to balance, the black and the white of all of it. So humans are no different. The whole universe is made up on balance.
Yeah. So it caused a very big imbalance on this planet.
Yeah.
And by, a negative group that didn't want us to be connected, didn't want us to ascend the way we're supposed to ascend. And this has been going on for not hundreds, but thousands of years. And it's finally, people are waking up and finally trying to get rid of this so we can get back onto our ascension and our program that we're supposed to be doing.
Right. And it's believed that, a twin soul couple is literally two bodies, one soul. Now, that's not to say we're not individuals as well, because we are. There's two bodies, two brains, but the mind self is one, the soul self. And, a lot of people ask us, how do you know when, if you have a twin soul or when you meet your twin soul? And there's a ton to it. I mean, we spoke on this for years, about 3 years, and didn't hit on everything.
Right.
So we're going to try to cram, if people have questions, throw them out there. We'll try to answer them. But literally, when you meet your twin soul, it's not like meeting anybody else on the planet. You have a knowing, and many soulmates have that, a similar knowing. We've all had instances where we've met somebody. It's like, God, I just feel like I've known you for so long. So it's similar to that times 1,000.
Yeah. Like I said, souls are born in groups and they're soulmates. And every once in a while, a twin soul will get reincarnated back into those groups by the powers to be. Mm-hmm. But when, soulmates tend to spend a lot of lifetimes together. And so when you meet somebody you resonate with, it's because you've experienced the same things over and over in the same time periods and the same vibrations and the same things going on. So you feel very connected to them. And
right.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, to me, it makes sense. But so, like I said, if anybody has questions, so I'm going to explain a little bit about how we met, a little bit of a crazy love story. I was 58 years old and RJ was 61. I had
last
moved.
Year, right?
Last year, about 7 years ago. Anyways, I had moved to Houghton Lake, never really wanting to, but circumstances put me in this area. It's right in the middle of Michigan. Had no plan of moving here. Didn't plan on staying. RJ kind of experienced the same thing. He was looking, he grew up in southern Michigan and spent his whole life there and was looking for a place in the UP, to retire and live happily ever after. But he kept getting pulled to this area, so he moved here. But for 3 years, he was in town. We did not run into one another at all. And anybody that knows this town, it's a pretty small town. Walmart's like
it's the church.
The only place to go.
Walmart's the church where everybody goes.
Yeah. So you see everybody at Walmart. We had not even seen one another. But after 3 years, he decided he was going to come into the metaphysical store that he had been eyeballing and knowing he needed to go into. And do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Oh, like you said, I kept seeing this place, and I was very curious, and something was pulling me there eventually, stronger and stronger and stronger. And I finally said, I'm going to go up there and see what's going on. And so as I got up there and into the parking lot, opened the door, and this was like a wind actually pushing me towards the door. So I walked in, and I said, "Hi, how are you, beautiful angels or light workers?
How are my beautiful light workers or something like that?" Yeah.
And Deb wasn't there, so she was in the back, but she can tell the rest.
I was actually in the back room. It was at that time we were in a different building, and it was a lot longer than the one we're in now. And I was in the back room mixing oils, doing my witchy work, and I heard the little buzzer go off, so I knew somebody had come in, but I had a few women up front. But I just had this very odd feeling come over me. And I knew I had to walk out into the main room. And as I did, I see this long-haired, hippie-looking dude, kind of looks like a biker, had a leather jacket on, handsome, but
And just for the record, I've never owned a motorcycle in my life.
No, he never has. So he's walking toward me and opened his arms. Just opened his arms. And I thought, this guy is nuts. He has no idea. I'm a city girl. I trust nobody. So I am not walking into this dude's arms. But I keep walking towards him, and next thing I knew, I was in his arms. And we were hugging, and we both had just this overwhelming feeling of we're home. I mean, I knew it scared the hell out of me.
Yeah, me too.
But I knew, and I told him later, I've seen you all my life. You've been in my dreams. I had written poetry.
She painted a picture.
Yep, painted a picture. And the only thing that really made me know it was definitely him is his nose. His nose is a little different than some of the other people with long hair like this. Yeah. So, I knew. And we both tried to fight it. I tried to run a few times. I was the runner, but couldn't, because if we were apart physically, and this is going to sound really crazy, but it was actually painful. It was painful to be apart. So, within a year, I'm going to shorten this up a lot to open up to questions, but within a year, we had written a book, moved in together, got married, and been through quite a bit. We started doing conferences together. I think within 2 months, we were doing radio together. I invited RJ to be on some of my shows, and then we created one of our own. It was called The Guiding Light. Um, it was wild. It was wild. So, with that comes the fact that now many twin souls that come together have missions, big missions. And we had a ton of work to do. And we still do.
Yeah.
We're still working our heinies off. Being vocal, getting the word out on so many different things, including, ET and the galactic people and collective consciousness, spirituality, paranormal. We stay very busy. So our mission is exactly that.
Yeah.
And we've certainly been doing it.
Yeah, I mean, because we're twin souls, we have normal, we have normal situations like other couples, and we're not, because we're twin souls, we're not more special than anybody else, because people can have very loving spiritual relationships with just other souls and other soulmates.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
But it's very intense because, I wanted to bring up the scientific thing. In the 1990s, an Italian scientist, they discovered what they call mirror neurons in the brain. And some people have more of these than others. And what it is that when you have more of those, you can feel and sense, especially your twin soul, what they're thinking, what they're feeling. And I can tell you, Deb and I have had many of those experiences. I mean, I always tell this joke, but it's not a joke. Before we were living together and married, I used to go. I lived in an association. I would go to the clubhouse and I would play some Wii golf with a friend of mine. We'd put him down pretty good. And the next day she called up, and the first thing she goes, "Thanks." I said, "Thanks for what?" She goes, "Thanks for the hangover." I said, "Wow." So this stuff, I got to take it pretty serious. It's just not me now.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's both of us.
Yeah, literally, I could feel his hangover, and I wasn't crazy about it.
But yeah, so and there's other things that we've done that we've been in the different opposite room. We had an idea, and we both got up and walked out and said the same thing, exact thing, and that mirror neurons. Think about it. So there's a science behind it, and we've many things like that, and there's a list that people have put out that you can read. But at the time that we got together, it was really weird because there were all kinds of information that was coming across the airways and the planet about twin souls, and especially starting in about 2015 and 14 maybe. So, I'll get into this a little later. I think there's a plan going on here.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. Okay, Eric, that's cool. Good to see you here. Eric was actually the MUFON.
Okay. Hi, Eric.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
I mean, there are stories after stories, but you literally can feel some of the physical things from your twin soul. When RJ had a stroke 1 month after we were married, he didn't feel it. I did.
A mini one.
Yeah. But I had the worst dang headache, and right in the exact spot when he had it.
Where I had the blockage. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So before they even scanned his brain, I knew where it was at. And once they scanned him, it was true. But we get people that come to us quite often, and like I said, ask, how do I know? How do you handle it? It is, like RJ said, a very intense relationship, and it's not all wine and roses. There's a lot to it. If you think about a yin and yang, what you have is two parts of one soul coming together. So you have the yin and the yang. So you have two parts that have to come together to make one whole, but they're different. Okay. So, You have many similarities, even right down to some of our physical markings on our bodies are identical. I don't know if that's the case for everybody, but for us it is. But some of those things that are not the same, of course, have to be opposite. Totally opposite. One half is black, one half is white, one is, it goes this way, one goes the other way. So even though it's one whole, you have the opposites. And with a twin soul couple, those opposites can be
challenging.
Yep, challenging.
Yep.
So, it's something to look at. Not every twin soul couple is meant to be together either in this lifetime. There are some twins who are supposed to, connect, I believe, but maybe not
spiritual plane. Yeah.
Right. Maybe not on a physical level. There's so much about this that we actually wrote a book. Our very first book was Defeating the Archons.
Defeating the Archons, a twin soul mission. And it really explains everything in there that we went through. And that's why we wrote it. That's why we wrote it.
Yeah, because if you look up twin souls, and typically they're called twin flames, it gives a whole different story. Hi, Maria. On what, exactly, Eric, on what a twin couple is. And, if you read it on the web, a lot of it is hot, hot, hot. And it's all about sex and consummating. And, that's...
Well, I mean, the younger people call it twin flame. I think the older people call it twin souls. And
happy birthday, Maria.
Hey, Maria.
Awesome. Yeah. So, and that was what prompted us to write the book, is when this all happened. And RJ and I were just talking one night. We weren't dating or anything yet. He said, why does it feel like we have one, or like we're the same soul? And I didn't want to talk to him ever again. Ever. But, yeah, that was wild. So where was I going with that?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Oh, so then we had to start looking things up, because okay, like this is really happening to us. We need to know more about it. And we did a lot of meditation together and digging deep together to find answers. But when you look it up on Google, it's like, oh, wait. No, that's not right. So that's what prompted us to write a book. And we were both a little bit leery because it's quite personal.
Yeah, I mean, the book explains everything that we went through in a lot of detail.
Yeah.
As it happened. So, the point was, so you could see what a twin soul actually is going through, because there's no information on it. Right. And it explains everything that was happening to us day by day.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of foo-foo information out there, but accurate information was very hard to find. And we titled the book Defeating the Archons because we literally, when we connected, it was like the biggest spiritual warfare for a while there. It was horrible. I mean, to the point, we could literally feel and fight off these spiritual attacks nonstop. And I've been a Reiki Master since 1998, and I use Reiki in my daily life, and I use it big time for protection as well as healing. Well, in the middle of the night one night, I was woken up, and it was so, I just felt this big negative hanging over me and knew that it was attacking both of us. So I woke up and attuned RJ, didn't even ask him to master level Reiki so he could protect himself. So I didn't have to continue protecting both of us. So, I mean, it can be on a spiritual level quite difficult, but we got through it. Here we are. By the time we had published the book, I don't think we were even married yet. No, because and it was odd because, you know, I am very hyper focused, ADHD, all of that. And once we started writing the book, I just went until it was done. And when I hit send to the publisher, I looked at the clock and said, oh my God, it's 11:11. I sent this at 11:11. And anyone that knows our book knows that the 11:11 is on the cover.
And what day was it?
It was Valentine's Day.
Yeah, no, we didn't plan that out, trust me.
No, we did not.
So it was pretty cool.
Not at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's funny how things just happen to kind of fall into place.
So all day we were working on that book on Valentine's Day. Didn't even realize
it was Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
No,
Time
we locked ourselves in the bedroom and did nothing but work on the book.
Yeah.
So, you know, a new couple, but honestly, we worked on the book.
So,
does anybody have any questions? And as Bill says, you know, type them in caps so we know it's a question. And we're, you know, we're an open book.
So yeah, I mean, I think a lot of twin souls have been coming to this planet in the last 10 years, you know, on purpose, as well as people in higher dimensions are volunteering to be reincarnated back here to raise the vibrations, because this planet has been, you know, it's been, I think, ruled by some negative forces for a very long time, and I think it's to help raise the without breaking the rules of what do you call that in Star Trek? You can't just butt in. It eludes me now, but you know what I'm talking about. Prime directive. So people volunteer, they get reincarnated back here. Twin souls come here, they raise the vibrations, and it's working. And we've got indigo children, we've got all kinds of things going on. People are coming here.
Oh yeah.
And so it's time.
We're definitely in the age of Aquarius, and definitely in a time of big evolution. And that's why more twin soul couples are coming together with missions similar to what we have. Within 5 months of being married, I had quite the experience. Oh no, that was before we were married, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because my experience was 2016. So it was within about 5 months of meeting that I had an experience with seeing a ship or something, and had missing time. Knew that I had been downloaded with all kinds of things, but I had no idea what.
Yeah.
And
so we do have some questions, believe it or not. Deanna says, I came in late. Sorry if you said this already, but how long have you been together? Well, we've been together lifetime after lifetime, and there's actually in the book we wrote that we explained some of our lifetimes together. They came back to us very intense and very, very emotional. And what are the biggest struggles being with your twin flame? Yeah, we talked about that. You know, it's not all kumbaya, like Reverend Michael Card likes to say, kumbaya. You know, because it's very intense, and if that yin and yang is not working together, you know, it can be, and it's because you're so intense on your missions, and it's very tiring sometimes. And we're not young anymore. And we met when I was 61 and you were 59, so
58.
58, excuse me.
And we have been together now in this lifetime. We've been married 6.5 years, so we've been together little more than 7 years in this lifetime.
And our paths are crossed when we were younger.
All of our lives.
Yep.
Yeah. We grew up in similar areas.
Yes.
I had family that lived right near him. We went to the same store.
Yeah.
We were never allowed to meet
Yeah.
until 2016 when it was boom. Yeah. And struggles, we could go on and on about struggles. And I think one of the biggest things for me is remembering that, we're not only together to enjoy the company of the other person, but to learn, to put to use what we have learned on soul levels for centuries separately. You guys probably know from seeing the show, RJ is he's the brain. He is so smart. He studies, he researches, and he gets tons of true scientific information. I've never been like that. It's like, oh, that's a waste of my time. I'm ADD. I need to, so I meditate. And so we get our information differently, and we have sought out separate information throughout this lifetime. So,
in numerology, because I do neurology, we're in the same year every year together. I mean, that's the way it worked out, and that makes perfect sense to us. But also in our life lesson, she was 11-2, 11-2, 11-2, which is the number of the psychic. She was born that way, and I was a 7-7-7.
I was born into mediumship.
And 7, they always searching for answers and the truth and everything.
Yeah.
But our last phase of our lives, I have an 11-2, and she has a 7. So I'm learning the spiritual part over again, and she's learning to be, I don't want to say more scientific, but she's taking time to, find out more things in maybe more scientific way, or more just searching for answers.
Right.
So
I delve a little deeper into things instead of, I feel that we all have access to the records, the universal Bible. We can tap into past lives. I've been doing past life work for, 40 years, mediumship. So I'm used to working in the mind, the soul self, instead of in the brain. So there's, two opposites for sure. So
I hope that helps you out, Deanna. So we got another one here. So do you think dreams of turmoil are a way our mind helps us work problems out? Well, Maria, I'm going to tell you this. It possibly could be, but, we talked about archons. And sometimes when you have the nightmares, they tend to be in there. They feed off our negative energy. They feed off our fear energy.
So they want us to be fearful and negative. And fear is the most negative emotion you can have.
So you know what? I kind of caught onto that, and I got to the point in my dreams I could look in the crowd and I could find who they were. I said, "There you are. No, I'm not going to do this. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to go through this. So you can feed off my energy." They can't help it. That's what they do. But and I'm wondering, you might really piss one off pretty bad. I mean, it was growling and yelling, and it wanted to. It was not happy. It didn't get his dinner. So, and sometimes they get me. Sometimes I go through it and I forget, and I smile and say, "Yeah, you got me last night. You got my energy." So, but as far as helping us work problems out, it could be, dreams can be interpreted in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So
it could also be stress that you're dealing with on a normal day-to-day in your third dimensional life that you're simply not taking the time to deal with. And it has to come out somehow. So it's coming out in your dreams as turmoil. There's so many different, it depends on what it is. It really does. I don't do a ton of dream work, but I do some. So if you wanted to send a little more information about these dreams of turmoil, we might be able to might be able to all work it out together.
Eric, you said that souls enjoy coming to different planets. Yeah, it's true. Of course, we all want to ascend, but I do think that once people get up into these ascension higher levels, that I think your job is to come back to help other people ascend, and you become a guardian. You become what am I looking for? The word.
Yeah.
What's your people that help you out in the higher levels?
Yeah, like your guardian angel or your
what's the word I'm looking for? You know what?
Yeah.
Who are they? We
I
always
know.
look for them.
I know.
We always talk to them.
I'm under pressure now. Okay, somebody give us the word. We know what it is.
Yeah. Anyway, I think as we evolve, our job becomes to help other people, other souls ascend, and because new souls are being put into the system, and not everybody has an old soul.
Spirit guide.
Thank
you, Gloria.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Gloria.
True.
That's cool.
Get us on a roll here. We can't think.
Yeah, maybe a mentor. Yeah, it's true. And I think
Hi, Mandy.
We also assist as we get into the higher dimensions of building the universe and other things and genetics and everything else. So there's a never-ending cycle that goes on that we get to experience as souls in a physical realm. And as we become really high up, we no longer have need for the physical. So, yeah. Regarding numerology, can you tell me?
Let me put it on the screen.
Why 1024 keeps coming up for me almost every day? Can be time or payment due, but predominantly comes up in the time. Click. See, we got. That's a 7. 1024 is a 7. So they could very well be telling you that you need to take time. The 7 needs time to figure out things, important things. It doesn't like bullshit. Yeah. It's looking for faith in life and faith in yourself.
Mm-hmm. And it could be that you're keeping so busy with, what's life and all the other stuff that you're not taking the time, like RJ said, to kind of delve deeper, do some meditation. That 7's coming up for a reason.
You got to remember, certain years, 1 through 9, can be very rough for certain people because the 7 demands that you take time for yourself to go into your woman cave or man cave and study things and learn. It's a very intelligent vibration, but maybe you don't have time, so it's very overwhelming. So the 1 year forces you to change. It doesn't force you, but it tells you to change. And if you can't, it's going to be very rough for you. It's telling you to start new things and do something different. Mm-hmm. So it's different for different people.
Right. Yeah, numbers are amazing. I didn't know a whole lot about numerology until I met RJ, and he did my numbers, 2 or 3 months after we met, and I was blown away. I've been a medium all my life.
Yeah, your soul number is 11 too.
The funny thing is, I all my life have had number anxiety. I mean, they literally told me that, like in 3rd grade, I would get sick doing math. I just couldn't. I can't focus on numbers. So there's an opposite. Yeah. Hi, Marie. Yay. I'll see you in September, if not August.
Isn't that a song?
See you in September, I think it is. No. Oh, and I do want to take a moment and let everybody know. Hi, Michael John. Let everybody know that is coming to Michigan UFO Contact. John Yost, who is a wonderful, wonderful man, actor, director, producer. He made Abduction Answers, the documentary. He's done other things. Anyways, he was on to be one of our speakers, and he is now dealing with pancreatic cancer. There is a GoFundMe for him. He's getting treatment. I'm not going to go into all of it right now, but he will not be able to physically attend the conference. We are sad. We're brokenhearted over it. We will probably take up donations for him to help with the treatment he's going through. So, okay. Yeah, I don't want to get sad, so let me put that up.
Yeah, I mean, just put out some positive, vibes towards him and energy towards him. I appreciate that. He's a very, very nice human being.
And very knowledgeable in the field. Yeah.
So Deanna, that equals 7, but I don't know why I like 7 so much. Well,
Well, I put something up here. What numbers do you use? Do you mean what system, Maria? I'm a little confused.
Well, I used the Michael Cassett system. It was my brother. He was one of the top numerologists in the world at one time. He got sick. I had to go get him in L.A. He had some a lot of actors was his clientele. He was an actor himself, but he used in our other book that we wrote with him called Worlds Beyond Death, exploring alternate terms of reality, existence of reality. We did with him also, and so he was so knowledgeable when it came to neurology, and his system works very well. It's very, very informative. It's like a blueprint. So
yeah. And he was an excellent channeler. He got a lot of the information that he did in that way. So Diana, wow, spot on. Thank you. I need to look into numerology more. On my own, I understood the 7 from what's the numbers, but I don't know why I like 7 so much. Yeah. So yeah, you have to send your birth date and all that stuff. Let's see what number maybe your soul number is a 7 or your life path. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's there's a lot to it. But again, that kind of shows the opposites as far as a twin soul couple. Mm-hmm. The numbers and the anxiety of numbers. Yeah. I have a hard time paying bills. It's like a big stress for me because I have to deal with numbers. Terry Ray, hi, how you doing?
Hi, Terry.
Good to see ya. Yeah. Okay, she did mean what system. So yeah, it's the Cassett system
Michael
of numerology. Yeah. Michael is passed. He passed in 2020. We miss him dearly. But he does have a website out there that's still there, last I knew, and it was called Your Life in Numbers, I believe.
Something like that.
Or if you look up the Cassett system of numerology, and it's spelled Kassett.
Yeah, okay. And Michael without the A.
Yeah.
It's Michel.
Because of the numbers. Yeah. So that is out there, and he does talk some about the numbers and things like that. You can look some things up. But I'll tell you, he was so knowledgeable. But all this stuff that we do together, that, we both do readings. RJ does numerology. I do mediumship. People come in the store and they will get a reading from one of us. And then, maybe 2 weeks later, get a reading from the other one. And they're going, oh my God, the readings, very similar.
That's not by design. That's not that, because we've talked about it. It's. I mean, we've been to conventions where
we never discuss readings. Yeah. We don't have time to discuss readings. Hi, Laura. So it's all meant to be. It's all part of our mission in this lifetime. I believe every lifetime that a twin couple has together is probably pretty important. But at this time, it's even more important.
I can tell you that we were a little ticked off that we met this lifetime, so late.
I still get ticked off.
Well, because we went through a lot of relationships. I don't know what.
I have to talk about that on the air.
I don't know what's up. Yeah, it was just that, we always, like I said, that we have no control over it. And And whenever they wanted us together, we got together, and we're kind of blessed. And it happened at our, older age, because life is new. Life is, yes, it keeps us young, and it keeps us busy, and we love it.
Yeah. But we did have to go through a lot separately.
Yeah.
A lot. Well, 58 years old. I had to go through a lot before I could meet you.
Yeah.
So now it feels like, I'm still quizzing him on things about his youth and things that he used to do, because I just want, I want to know. I missed out on all that. So, yeah, it's a little crazy. There's so many things we're missing here on Twin Souls. So.
Well, I want to reiterate, if you get that book, it explains everything as it happened, and as we got together, day by day, week by week. So,
yeah. Hi, Lynn. You two have always seemed together. Yep. And people that meet us now are totally amazed that we have only been married for 6 years. Totally amazed. But even when we were only married for 6 months, people would say, "You guys haven't always been together?"
So, RJ.
Yeah.
Well, all I can say is it just felt right. It just felt natural. It's what I needed to do. I felt very comfortable as I walked in. I was nervous when I got to the door, but once I got in there, it was
like coming home.
Yeah.
And I was in the process. I was starting to do some little bit of remodel work right when we met, and bless his heart, he jumped right in and said, "I'll help paint. I'll help, do all this stuff."
I wanted to live there.
So he was there like every day, and we were working together. And that was another thing that was kind of funny, is we had a hard time working together.
Yeah.
It was like
if we picked up a table together, our energy was so strong that we'd fall over, or we'd drop it, or
it was nuts.
And we'd laugh about it.
And after we became a couple, consummated our relationship,
the energy was a little better.
The energy was
way
different. Yeah. And then we could work together for hours and not even talk, and everything just went exactly as planned.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we were doing things, and we'd say, "Well, that's exactly what I was thinking about," or "That's exactly how I would have done it," or it's perfect.
Hi, Ron. Good to see you here.
Hi, Ron.
You're beautiful people too. We miss you. Yeah. So, I want to just throw out there too that there's a thing. It's called false twin flame or false twin soul. You can be super, super drawn to somebody, have that knowing that you've always known them, have that familiar feeling, have a very, very strong connection. Now, I did have that in my life before we met, quite a few years before, and I was still connected with this person on a spiritual level. Spiritually, we were amazing together. We would do healing work from one state to another. We couldn't be in the same state. We did all kinds of things. We ran meditation groups. He was a yogi. It was phenomenal, but do not put us physically together, because we damn near killed one another. We just could not. The physical could not be together. He'd walk up, say hi, and I wanted to slug him. So, but yet when he was far away, if there was a problem, I knew it. So, but we knew no way could we be together. Mm-hmm. So that is a whole different type of twin. I have no doubt that it happens for a reason. My feelings are it's to prepare you for the real twin that's coming into your life. And I wasn't prepared. We were both in a committed relationship when we met, and had no plans of ending that committed relationship until we met. And then there was no way to keep us apart. And I guess that's a beautiful thing because, 7 years later, here we are. And, sometimes those opposites really get opposite.
And I'm not getting itchy. 7 years.
But we're still together. We still have to be together. And we still have a lot of work to do. So, if you are with your twin soul and you're being drawn to do things, help the homeless or whatever it may be, by all means do it. Don't sit back and let that go, because that's why you're together. There's almost always a mission. And that's why our book was titled Twin Soul Mission. Yeah. So, and you can find it on Amazon. It's needs to be rewritten. It was a little bit messed up, but Kathy. Hi, my friend. I just read something right before we went on the air, and I want to say I love you. And I'm so sorry. And I won't talk about it on the air.
Well, anyway, that's our little show tonight.
Yeah.
On Twin Souls, we just wanted to let you know that. I mean, it's not like our regular shows. We usually talk about UFOs or ghosts or Bigfoot or something like that. But we
usually UFOs.
Yeah, usually UFOs. But this, like I said, we've been learning about this for a long time, and it does have a connection with the cosmos.
It's all connected.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it's all connected. Hello, Jonathan. And yes, Lynn, I know about your mission with Annie, and she'll be on next. I believe her show's recorded tonight because she is at an event. But
thought her show's on Friday nights.
Andrea, no, oh, it is Friday night.
Yeah.
Okay, tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, though, at 8:00, tune in to the Voices of Contact. That is not on KGRA, but it is on our Mystical Awakenings broadcast. And that being said, it looks like we are out of time. We love you all.
Guys, I want to give you a little information. If you're married to a twin soul and a medium, you don't get away with shit.
Sucks to be you sometimes. Love you too, Lynn. Love all of you. Great to be here. Great to see you all. Take care. Have a wonderful, blessed week. And until we meet again, may all of your awakenings be mystical.
Bye, everybody.
Good
Thank
night.
you.